Well, hello, and it's Senior Mash talking Rugby Union, and as I've learnt over the weekend, it's all about controlling the energy. So, week 7, and what have I seen this week? Well, first of all, on Saturday I was at Park Lane to watch Sedgley Park versus Plymouth Albion in National League 1, live Rugby Union, and I did enjoy it. First 15 minutes, though, belonged to Plymouth Albion. They were very direct, and to be fair, Sedgley were caught on the back foot. First try, Plymouth Albion, and no longer all the back forwards. Plymouth reverted to the wing, second try going over. But there was some fantastic Sedgley Park defence from about minute 30 to the half-time whistle. And that defence really changed the course of the game, in my opinion. It allowed Sedgley to really take the wind out of Plymouth's sails, and therefore in the second half, the match opened up for Sedgley Park, and they really took advantage. Great try from Charlie. And then something we've seen for the last few years at Sedge, the line out, driving more, backs joining, yep, it's try time. Sedgley continued to pepper the Plymouth Albion try line, using everything at their disposal, and it was Charlie Wardle operating at fly half that took the plaudits, scoring 2 tries. But let's not forget Reece Henderson's 2 tries. Certainly the first of his tries changed the game a little for Sedge, having gone so far behind in those first 10 minutes. Charlie, very creative fly half, lots of great footwork, and pleased I was there to watch it. Well done. So overall, my thoughts and reflections this week, I'm always excited to get down and watch some live rugby. You can tell that, obviously. But don't underestimate the quality of TNT sports coverage. I thought they were really good this weekend, to be fair. And the games they cover exceptionally well. And I do think that for many of us, some of the punditry of Ben Kay and Austin Healy really do help our view of how the game is developing in the Gallagher Premiership. Big thanks to Dave Brearley down at Sedge on Saturday, and he reminded me of heading off to watch county and divisional rugby in the late 70s and early 80s. His memories of the Wallabies, and I look back and I have a great memory of Powderhouse Lane, the home of the Vale of Loon. Results this week, well, obviously the Sedgley game, but hey, well done Newcastle Falcons, and Callum Chick, who I thought was outstanding. Great to see Falcons get a win. Tough on Exeter. There's lots of claims of rebuilding, and I can see that in part. Overall, I just think there's a couple of key positions in the Exeter lineup that are struggling. I suspect they'll be waiting anxiously to get Henry Slade back. But well done, Newcastle Falcons. I followed Havant a little bit at the start of the season, as you may remember, newcomers to National 2, and they were up against Barnes. Barnes is an interesting club in the heart of London, and one that I've got a great fondness for. My nephew, Frank Nixon, has been a player at Barnes, has played National 2. He's currently taking a couple of years out to travel the world, and I'm hoping that it's not only cricket, which is one of his great loves, it'll be rugby that he takes a look at as he visits many countries in the world. But good result for Barnes, and we'll be keeping an eye on him for the rest of the season. Into the Premiership, well, there was a good win for Leicester against Gloucester. I was very impressed with Dan Kelly in the centres, and I did think that at the end some masterly control by the Leicester forwards was the difference between the two teams. I thought Gloucester's line-out may have improved a little. It was very weak last week, so I was surprised how badly they performed at line-out time again, and Leicester were only too happy with Ollie Chesham and Cracknell to take advantage of that. Over in South Africa, Glasgow Warriors put up a tremendous performance to take on the Sharks. I feel that Warriors really have created something quite special in the way they go about playing rugby, and you got to believe that it's going to be beneficial for Scottish rugby. So keep it going, Glasgow Warriors, and look after my favourite, that is Johnny Matthews. So they were TRU's eye-catching results from this week. As I mentioned, that 10 minutes at Park Lane, Sedgley Park versus Plymouth Albion, the intensity of the defence really changed the shape of that game. It really knocked Plymouth Albion's confidence. Having started so well, that sustained period of defence by Sedgley Park to nullify them meant that they went in at half-time not feeling as chipper, not feeling as confident as they should have done. And the second half, well, Sedgley just ran riot. I mentioned last week that I prefer players' magic moments rather than this talk about process. And as much as I am a positive fan of TNT Sports, I wish they just stopped using this word process. And let's make sure process doesn't become a mantra for grassroots rugby. But I did learn one new set of terms this week from TNT Sports, and that was controlling the energy. And I rather like that. So more of controlling the energy over the weeks ahead. And I showed you this last week, death taxes and Johnny Matthews scoring tries. Well, what a try by Glasgow Warriors. Johnny Matthews scores at the very end to secure a losing bonus point. And it wasn't a rolling maul. It was high speed on the flank. Johnny, absolutely fantastic to see. On social media, I picked this up off Facebook. Don't rush the process. Good things take time. And honestly, at grassroots rugby, please allow kids to participate and enjoy. Let's try and avoid process for as long as we can. So, Dave Brearley, thank you for reminding me. 1979, a 17-year-old at Hudden Grammar School. And we learned that there were lots of things happening in the world of rugby, particularly around Lancashire and the North Division. There was obviously that famous victory of the North Division taking on the All Blacks in November 1979 at Otley Rugby Club. What a result. Didn't make it to that one, unfortunately, but I think if you live in the north of England and you follow rugby union, that's one of the all-time memories. But for me, it was a 17-year-old with 4 of his mates heading from Preston to Lancaster, having taken the afternoon off school to go and watch this, having a few too many pints in the clubhouse before the game, wearing a long navy blue Crombie, and at the end of the game, when trying to invade the pitch, full bladder, long coat, fell over the railings rather than climbed over the railings. Happy memory. And to Jonathan Eves, Neil Stewart, Paul Wallace, Carl Aspinwall, Kev Stansfield, Johnny Lees, thanks for those great memories. And what did that final actually look like? Well, it was Lancashire-Gloucester. It was 9th of February. And you can see the attendance was over 10,000 people. And I can confirm there were plenty of people there. There were players from Broughton Park, Orrell, Sale, Mike Slemon from Liverpool. There were players from Fylde, Waterloo. A real mix of those top teams in the north of England. And my standout was actually the fly half Pete Williams that day. But always good to see Bill Beaumont and Tony Neary. So thank you for allowing me to be at that game, and I have such fond memories of it, and was probably what got me the most interested in rugby in my late teenage years. So, as ever, thanks to Talking Rugby Union for their archive footage and National League Rugby. It's been a pleasure to talk to you about rugby union. And until next time, this is Senior Mash checking out. Thanks and see you next time. Take care.